So hopefully Claudia is going to take a look at herself now that she has a leg missing. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to The Dragon Prince, Season 6, Episode 1. And yeah, last time we had like this big kind of like climactic battle with Claudia turning into like this tentacle squid monster thing. Well, she was still partially humanoid, but and she lost a leg. And I'm hoping that this helps her like self-reflect and start to realize it's like, oh no, I'm the bad guy here. I'm hoping that she starts to realize this because I'm honestly getting sick of her. But we got the pearl that holds Erebos' prison. Viren is just kind of resigning himself to his fate, which is, fair enough, cool, go do that. World will probably be better off. And the Dragon Queen is not doing super well, but I think there was someone who came in to help out with that, to help heal her. I don't remember who it was, if it's someone we knew. Oh, and there was still the stuff going on with the Sunfire Elf Kingdom and Amaya and everything. Because we found out, like, there was a, traitor in their midst and all. And that's about what I remember. And I only remember that because, like, when I decided that we were going to bring this back, I looked it up. And that was, like, what, a few days ago at this point? But it's still a lot more recent. So, yeah, though, we are bringing this back. We have this season and then season 7, and that's it. That's the end of the series, so. But just as a reminder, this series is a donation reward for Smurf. So thank you, Smurf, for donating for this way back when. And we're getting back to it. It's been a while since we last reacted, and because we had this entire issue come up with the elephant, because I mistook the elephant for being a 3-episode miniseries instead of, just having 3 acts in a single 22-minute episode. I was originally going to have it take over from Fiona and Cake as the new Monday series. even if it was only 3 episodes. But then I found out, no, it's just the one single 22-minute special. And so I needed something else to take this place. I thought, like, well, we haven't gotten back to this in a while. It was mentioned on the Discord just recently. So why not? Let's get to some more Dragon Prince. Let's check this out and see what we have in store. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure where things are going to go from here. But one thing I will say about this series as a whole is that it just seems like it's, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. The series comes across as like the creators wanted it to be something much, much more than it is. I don't know if like the creators, the team working on it, wanted it to be like some kind of like multimedia project where it's like on top of the show you also had like movies or comics or just other stuff like that. I don't know if that was like intended or conceptualized, but it feels like it was. It feels like this is supposed to have a lot more going on with it. I mean, on top of having that big mind is blanking, I apologize, time skip. After having that big time skip, like, what was it, like, between seasons 3 and 4? It just feels like it feels like the series wanted to do a lot more with the time between, maybe. And it just, I'm also just not a fan of time skips like this. Like, one time skip is fine, but if you do any more than that, then I'm going to have problems. We're going to go into Young Justice territory, where it just completely ruins the entire flow of the series. Of course, I think that the time skip we had was completely unwarranted. The time skips need to make sense. Like, the time skips in, like, Naruto and One Piece, that kind of stuff, make sense, because they have, like, lore reasons for them. But this, the time skip here just felt completely out of nowhere. It felt random and just thrown in, just to have a time skip and emulate anime. It didn't feel natural or believable, and it just felt like we were missing out on so much. Just like Young Justice. And so it's like, I feel like time skips shouldn't be like just thrown into a series. They should only be put in for a show like Naruto or One Piece, where it's going to be super long running, and not a seasonal show. A seasonal show, I think, should almost never have a time skip, because I just don't think it's the right kind of series for that. I think you have to have like a continuous series that's more organized by arcs. But yeah, that's just a me thing, I guess. It's maybe, I don't know how unpopular of opinion that is, but yeah, it's something that's bothered me with this series. I just didn't like how they executed the time skip they had. I'm really interested to see, like, if Viren does die. I mean, here's hoping, right? But that would be interesting if he just died from giving up. Especially because, like, since he kind of got resurrected, they've been clearly pushing this arc that he's kind of on like a redemption path, or at the very least he's feeling guilty for everything he had done, which I don't forgive him, by the way. I feel like I've made that very clear. I have not forgiven his actions, and I still think he's a fuckboy. He's a piece of shit. He's terrible. He's evil. And I just don't buy his redemption. I don't believe it. Because they've done nothing to make me believe it. This isn't like a Zuko situation. Zuko's redemption arc was believable from the start because there were those seeds planted like the entire fucking series. So his redemption arc worked. But you can't say that about Viren. There were no seeds planted throughout the series. He was just a piece of shit, an evil, vile, racist, like, just cunt bag, if I'm being honest here. I hate him. I've made that very clear in like previous seasons and all. I really, really hate Viren. And kind of in a way, like you're supposed to hate him. But I also just don't like seeing him on screen. I just don't like seeing him on screen. I feel like I would rather have that time like given to other characters. So there's also that factor. But I'm excited to see where this goes, and hopefully season 6 ends up being a pretty good one. But that being said, I think we're just going to get into this. But before we do, real quick, I do want to remind you all that we have a Patreon now. For those who may not have seen yet or may not have heard, at the start of the year, we started a Patreon because this is something I do full time, and any bit does help. I understand the economy shit, but it does help if you're able and willing to give it. It is optional. So just making that clear. It is optional. But if you do click the link down in the description below to go to the Patreon, you will find descriptions of each of the tiers, which will give you things like early access to various reactions depending on your tier. You'll get the ability to vote on exclusive polls in the future. You'll get the ability to just choose for me to react to something in the future, and so on and so forth. It's got its perks. And like I just sorry, I am out of it right now. And on top of that, I just feel like I just feel like there's more to come because we're still working this out. We're still figuring this all out, and it's still fairly new and fresh. If there's any changes that are going to happen, then we'll work through that, and I'll definitely announce it beforehand. But all of this being said, like I said, it's completely optional. You don't have to do it if you're unable to or unwilling for whatever reason. But it does help out, and I do thank you if you are able to help out. And going from there, hopefully things continue to go well, and hopefully we figure out any changes we need to make. If you have any suggestions, any ideas, please feel free to let me know. But for the time being, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and let's see what this reaction has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And welcome to the Afterthoughts. We will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Well, Claudia's completely lost her mind, and it is sad. Like, Claudia started off this series as like pretty well put together. She was very kind, very gentle, very like likable, kind of cringy, but in a very charming way. And like as the series has progressed, she's gotten more and more insane. Especially after, she had to start caring for her father and brought him back in the first place and everything. She she put her love for her father and her investment in keeping him alive and safe way above like any level of sanity or doing the right thing. She basically just saw it as like doing the right thing doesn't matter if it takes away those you love. Basically, that's what it came down to. And so she decided to prioritize the latter, prioritize her loved ones over that. But now, with like apparently her mother leaving, which I don't remember if we heard about their mother. I just don't remember. But then, like now her father being gone, Soren having like left her side and everything, she basically feels betrayed. She feels like everyone has left her and has like this severe abandonment issue coming in to the point where it's caused her to literally snap. You saw her face when Terry opened their eyes. And she was like crazy, crazy. Like her mind is just gone. And it's like she is like a true tragic character. Not her fucking father. He's a piece of shit still, and he can die. I don't care. Honestly, I'm just sick of seeing him at this point. But Claudia is a true tragic character to where I accidentally kicked my camera, well, the tripod. But she's a true tragic character because she started off as a good guy and has devolved more and more, completely losing her sanity as the series has progressed. That's how you do a tragic character. And if you want to do like a villain redemption, like take notes from Zuko. Don't do whatever the fuck you're doing with Viren. You have to have little kernels planted in there from the start to make it feel like the redemption is, possible, but also just believable. Viren having a redemption, like suddenly, like coming to terms with the fact that he was an evil son of a bitch, like it doesn't feel believable because there was nothing to lead into it. It just kind of happened. And that's not how you do a redemption arc. And I keep comparing this to Zuko because, the people who made this worked on Avatar The Last Airbender. You would think they would know how to do a redemption arc for a villain. This is not fucking it. But yeah, the imp child thing is dead as well because Claudia killed that, and that's why Viren is still alive. So fun. That happened off screen, and we now have the main part of the episode focusing around like what to do with the pearl. We have Erebos' prison. What do we do with it? Callum is worried about being, mind controlled and taken over by Erebos, which is an entirely reasonable fear, and that I feel that Rayla is not taking seriously enough. For his friend and romantic interest, you really should be taking his concerns a lot more seriously here, especially when you know this is something that can happen. It's like, Jesus. It's kind of being a little bit of a bitch, honestly. Like, not in a mean way, but in just a uncaring way. like, you should always take your partner's fears seriously. Even if you don't think that there's a lot of danger, you should always take those fears seriously. Because you could be fucking wrong, and in this case, she is fucking wrong. And yeah, she's going along with the journey in the end anyway, but basically it had to be on Ezrin's orders. Ezrin as king had to give the orders that this is what the new plan, that this is what they're doing now. But it's like it shouldn't have required that. It shouldn't have required Ezrin's orders for Rayla to take Callum seriously here. That's really fucked up. It really is. The entire plan with the candy decoy, I guess that could work. Though, I mean, I don't know how that's not going to just melt and shit. I guess if they keep it... I guess if the place they're keeping it is cold enough. But, yeah. It's pretty crazy, everything that's, like, being set up here. Because on top of Rayla and Callum heading to the north to reach these elves, we also have Soren heading out with Zim to go find Zim's mom. So, yeah, just kind of setting up our journeys so far with this season. And definitely curious as to how this is all gonna work out. But seriously, it seems like every season we just separate the party just to bring them back in the end, and it feels like it's just kind of being repetitive. And I'm not just trying to bitch and complain. There's still obviously a lot I'm loving about this series, otherwise I wouldn't be continuing this. But it's just like there are some things that do bother me, and I'm going to be honest about them. I'm always going to be honest with you guys whenever I have an issue. With any series, movie, game on the gaming channel, doesn't matter. Anything I'm reacting to or playing, I will always be completely honest with you. And so far, I still like Dragon Prince more than I dislike it. Which is good. But I do have some issues that do drag it down just at least a little bit. But we did see that cold open as well, with Erebos crying and another one of his race, like, seemingly comforting him and everything. And it's like, that's a backstory I wouldn't mind getting. Seeing, like, what made Erebos the villain he is. I'm very curious to learn more about him, because that's, like, one thing we just haven't done. Not as much as we should have. For our main villain, you know. But I wonder what we're going to come across on this journey. Like, in terms of monsters and beasties and whatnot. Other new characters, maybe. And how is Claudia going to factor into everything now? Because she's, you know, missing a leg, and whether she's able to get a prosthesis or not, if those exist in this world. Like, what's she going to actually do at this point? She's so broken. Is she going to remain a villain? Is she going to... Are they going to try to bring her back from this? Because I would be okay with that if they can make it work. I just feel like that'd be hard to do at this point. Or is she just going to kind of wander alone for the time being and just mope? And then what's Viren doing? Like, he's heading back to Katalis, right? So is he just going to end up being imprisoned? And what's going to happen when he gets there and, you know, with the entire Pearl thing? Lots of questions. Questions that will more than likely be answered, hopefully. So we'll just have to wait for that to come into play. But otherwise, that's pretty much all I've got to say. I know these have been some short afterthoughts so far, but I feel like I didn't really have anything else to add. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode of The Dragon Prince. Let me know your thoughts on how this season has started and just how the characters are acting and everything. And we will continue this into the next week. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.